Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for the third installment of the Northwest Chamber Member Interview Studio Sessions. My name is Emily Winters, and I'm the Northwest Chamber of Commerce President. Joining us today is one of our board members, Alex Simone from Gold & Company, LLC. Thank you for joining us today, Alex.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, Emily.
All right, well,
Thanks for having me.
Of course. We will get started for the 9 questions that we have going today. And I can't wait to hear all your answers. So number 1, what was it that first got you into commercial real estate?
Well, first it was Mitch Gold, my managing broker. Well, probably not first. I grew up in a real estate family, spent my childhood in it. There was a lot that I liked about it, but wasn't really passionate about the home sales part of it, bedrooms and bathrooms. But I was very passionate about B2B sales, business to business sales. That's where I started my career. And kind of in between real estate family and B2B sales, after college, I went to Israel for a couple of years, served in the Israel Defense Forces, great experience. And when I came back and I was working in B2B sales, I got involved with the Friends of the Israel Defense Forces, a nonprofit group that does fundraising and humanitarian aid for Israeli soldiers, kind of like their GI Bill. So I'm passionate about this, as is our managing broker at Gold & Company, Mitch Gold. We kind of became friends there for a number of years, and just, the timing just worked out. I had been in B2B sales for a few years, looking for the right fit, looked at commercial real estate and wanted to pursue that. And Mitch gave me a shot, took me under his wing, and provided great mentorship for me. So that's how I got into it.
That's great. It's a great backstory. So number 2, what do you love about your field?
A lot. So the first part that I love the most about working commercial real estate is that I work with a lot of owner users and entrepreneurs, people that are betting everything on their ability to go create a business and succeed. And so that's just exciting being around these people. It's very inspiring, kind of day in, day out, when you either call somebody or they call you and they want to go start a new business. So it's very invigorating and inspiring. I love taking an empty space, a vacant, whether it's a warehouse or an office or retail, whatever it is, and feeling like I'm helping to breathe life into it. You put a business in there, it becomes productive. People go to work there, people get jobs there, they pay their taxes there. On the real estate side, there's all these people involved in the transaction, and then contractors put to work on cleaning it up or painting it, whatever. So there's just so many people benefiting from that. The tax base and tax revenues benefit from it. So that's a huge part just on the macro level. I love sales. I love doing deals. It's just a lot of fun for me. And then the last part that I really love about it, and I didn't really realize until I got into it, is just my love for buildings. I mean, like every little boy is always building blocks, but to get inside of some of these buildings, and Gold & Company, we really excel in the Class B and C industrial space. So we're talking old warehouses and factories, a lot of history in these places. And so it's really fun trying to go and repurpose it. And some of these buildings are fantastic. They just need the right owner to put the right love and time and money into it. Mitch likes saying that buildings are people too. And if you are in commercial real estate, you do encounter a number of building geeks, and I'm very proud to count myself one of them.
I love that. And it's inspiring too to see how much you appreciate it and you have such a passion for it. So that's great to see. So in this career that you love, I mean, has there been a favorite moment along the way?
Yes. And, I'm still closer to the beginning of my career in commercial real estate. So my favorite moment so far was when we executed a lease maybe just a month and a half ago over at Mill Station, the former Owings Mills Mall, which now has Costco and Lowe's. We executed a new lease for El Gran Pollo, a local Peruvian chicken restaurant with locations in Towson, on Main Street in Reisterstown, Falstaff Village. So they were going to be coming very soon to Owings Mills. Very proud to be a part of that. Very proud to help this local business owner grow his business, and to just see the space that, I grew up. Everybody who grew up in Pikesville, Owings Mills remembers going to the mall, and if nothing else, they remember going to Scoops and getting some candy. And so just kind of coming full circle and seeing that, like, okay, we did something here. This is going to be the new face of it. And the chicken is really, really good. We've got to try it once we can get back to face-to-face meetings.
We'll have to have an event there or something.
Absolutely. El Gran Pollo coming in the next few months to Mills Station in Owings Mills.
We are excited to see it. It's nice when you have your neighborhood intact for a project like that. It becomes a passion project. So that's great.
Absolutely. It took 16 months from start to finish to do, which is not the longest deal cycle in commercial real estate history, but it is the longest deal that it ever took me from start to finish. So I was just very, very proud to be a part of it, and excited for seeing it open up soon.
That's so exciting. All right, so number 4, are there any funny or interesting stories to share during your career so far?
So you asked me, I thought about this a little bit, and I can't really think of any funny or interesting. I can think of stories that other brokers might find funny, but for this audience, so I kind of default to my Israeli army experience, because there's always something interesting to pull out of that. And I was thinking about this morning, and I think, and I think this, I'm not sure if it's true, but I think that I was one of the first team of Israeli military to provide medical aid to Syrian rebel wounded during during the Arab Spring, during their civil war. We were based on this base far in the north, kind of up in between Syria and Lebanon, almost a very precarious area. And one day they told us to report to this spot. We were going to be receiving some people. We didn't know who they were, but they turned out to be people who were hurt in the conflict, and our people were giving them medical aid. And it turned, just 2 on that day, but it kind of snowballed until they had provided aid to a couple thousand people. And it's just really cool to read about after the fact, and to think I might have been part of the first one. So I don't know, but
that is really interesting. That is interesting, because I've talked to you about your career multiple times, but I didn't know that much about your backstory. So that is very interesting to share.
Yeah, really, really fun part of my life. Great to talk about over chicken or whatever.
Yes. Okay, so now on to our more Actors Studio questions. So Alex, do you have a favorite word in your vocabulary?
Sold. That's my favorite. And whenever we get one done, that's the first thing you'll see me post on LinkedIn. We got one.
That's a great answer. Now, having said that, do you have a least favorite word?
So I think it's can't. I don't always show it, although sometimes I'm not great about hiding what I'm thinking. But whenever somebody says, "Oh, I can't do that," I'm like, oh.
It's frustrating.
Although I'm sure I've said it too.
It's a frustrating thing to say and to hear, I think.
Yep. Let's get it done. Let's do it. That's what I like to hear.
All right. So do you have a favorite sound?
I love the sound of my nephews. My nieces don't do this as much, but my nephews when they call me Uncle Alex.
Oh.
That always cuts right to my heart. And I got myself a SodaStream recently. So I love the sound of like my freshly carbonated water fizzing.
I bet that's a great one.
It's calming.
Those are 2 good answers.
I'm a really exciting guy here. Nieces and nephews and seltzer water.
Those are good though. Those are great answers. Okay, so what profession other than your own would you like to try?
Well, I was thinking about that. What I like to try. See, this is hard because I'm really happy where I am and with what I'm doing, and it plays to my strengths well. There are a couple other things I might have liked to do had I really had the talent for it. I love stand-up comedy. I go to Magoobies not lately, but love going to comedy shows and love that. But I'm really more of a fan. I don't think I'm really, as much fun as we're having, I don't think I could really make people laugh for a living. But I do love laughing and making people laugh. So probably a stand-up comedian. Either that or, and I get made fun whenever I share this, but I'm trying to live my truth in 2020 on it. I always wanted to be a philanthropist when I grew up. I always wanted to just find causes I care about and support them. So it's not too late, 32, and I decided this year I'd put it in writing and make it a dream worth pursuing. When I grow up, I'm going to be a philanthropist.
Those are both great answers, and you could probably achieve both somehow, but they're both great answers.
I think I'll stick to being like the funniest guy in my brokerage or something like that. Although I'm sure they'd have something to say about that too.
That's a good one. All right, and our last question of the day, what is the one business lesson you wish you would have learned prior to starting your career?
So I think it's to write everything down and document everything. Because, and I mean, I'm still working on this one, but you know, it's amazing. There's so much information that we're passing back and forth all the time. And then when somebody is getting into, you know, a part of their business where it requires focus and precision, having everything written down and an organized system for note taking, it's something that it took me a little bit into my career to really lean into and embrace. So probably just write down everything, because you never know when you'll need any little detail to get something done.
And that's a good lesson for everyone. So many fields that applies to, I mean, everyday life, that's so important to take into consideration. So that's a good answer too.
Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're grateful that you were able to spend your afternoon with us doing this interview. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. And thank you again, Alex.
Thank you, Emily. Thanks, everybody.